Okay. Wow, check that out. Okay. If you haven't got a seat, do come and gather around. There's a couple more at the front here as well if you're thinking of taking up. So, how cool was that first half? Yeah, it's amazing. Just extraordinary. And I hope the break was good for you. The whole point of today is to sort of kind of like share with each other, just like get some ideas going between each other of how things are changing in your life and what we're taking responsibility for. All of our, if you like, creativity comes from our ability to communicate with each other, our wish to tell stories from one to another. And that language is a universal one. It doesn't matter where you are. Every single Homo sapiens species, right back to this piece of coral that we were talking about this morning, has that capability. But it needs some real energy to make those sort of connections, if you like, between science and art. And so the Schmidt Institute and Foundation, I think, have really spearheaded, or framed, I suppose, you like, the potential for this language and this conversation. And so it's wonderful for us to have Dr. Carlie Wiener here today on behalf of the Schmidt Institute to talk about the work that they're doing. And so thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Right, it's a tough act to follow after lunch. I will hopefully not put everybody to sleep and build on a lot of the concepts that we talked about this morning. So I'm just gonna see if I can find my talk here. Looks like we are not anywhere near it, but just give me a second and I'll see what I can do. I'm guessing I'm going back because I have not seen these slides yet, so we'll just... Okay. Oh, there we go. I recognize that talk. Okay, here we go. Getting close. All right, this is me. Here we go. Okay, fantastic. So thank you so much for having me this afternoon. Thank you for hosting this incredible, inspirational space. And a big thank you to those of you online and to the Ocean Rising team. And I want to acknowledge Lisa Hines, who's done a lot of behind the scenes work here. I don't know where you are, Lisa, but thank you. And now I'm going to talk about Schmidt Ocean Institute, which is one of the organizations behind Ocean Rising. Schmidt Ocean Institute is a philanthropic organization that began in 2013 with a research vessel, Falkor. In 2023, we brought online this vessel behind me that you see, research vessel Falkor 2. And this is a platform for both scientists and artists who can work together in those edges of exploration, in the deepest parts of the ocean, in the most remote parts of the ocean, really bringing frontier science to the public with the goal of being able to understand using both a scientific and artistic lens. And what's truly unique about Schmidt Ocean Institute and our Artist at Sea residency is that it offers an opportunity for artists to engage in the science and to work hand in hand with the scientists, both influencing the science and the science influencing the artist in a reciprocal relationship. And what I'm going to do today is to start by sharing a little bit more about the program with a video that will give you a little sense about what we do. And this is actually a trailer for a film we produced last year called Ocean Watch that debuted at the Royal Institution and looked at our first year of science on our new research vessel.
Beneath the surface of the ocean lies a hidden world of wonders. The deep ocean is the last frontier of exploration on planet Earth. But in recent decades, scientific advancements have opened a window into its many domains and brought to light discoveries that are redefining our understanding of life in the oceans. In 2023, Schmidt Ocean Institute set sail a new research vessel to unlock its mysteries, named Falkor 2. These are the stories of Falcor 2, with its first chapter into a lifetime of exploration.
If you're curious about the film, that 40-minute short is available on Schmidt Ocean's YouTube channel. But really what I wanted to demonstrate there, and what Oliver showed earlier this morning, was that the deep sea as a place of inspiration, of positivity, of creativity, where the unimaginable can happen, where you see animals that you could never see before, where you see new environments that you've never seen before, and how we're able to take these images and use artistic expression to translate them into an approachable subject that brings hope and interest to the public. And we've done that with our Artist at Sea program, which has been going on since 2015. We've hosted 55 artists on board our research vessel who have collaborated with scientists and resulted in a collection of over 162 pieces. The residency allows the scientists and artists to work together, and the artist is expected to donate one piece to our traveling exhibit and to our collection. That traveling exhibit is shown at no cost around the world, engaging people with the deep sea and some of the really important science that is taking place. I'm going to share a few examples with you today of how these collaborations work and how the science can be translated. We've brought artists from all different backgrounds, from all different regions. So we do not discriminate against what type of art is being conducted, and we try to bring both artists from the region we're working in a way to engage with the communities, but also globally recognized artists as well, to lift the regional artists that we're working with, as well as the recognition of the program and the importance of the science taking place. So the first example I will share is with an artist, Max Hooper Schneider, based in the United States, out of Los Angeles, and he came on with us on an expedition last year in 2023, where we were exploring deep seamounts with scientist Dr. Monica Bright, based out of Germany. Now, Max was fascinated by hydrothermal vent systems and extreme life on the edges of being able to exist, looking at species that work in these chemosynthetic ecosystems, which essentially means they are not using oxygen to breathe, but other chemicals, and living in places where you would not expect animals to live. And he did some incredible work with our ROV Sebastian. That's our underwater robot that we send all the way down to 4,500 meters depth to take video and to be the eyes and the arms of the scientists. So it collects samples. We live stream all the video that's being taken during our dives, but also as an extension for our artists to interact with the ecosystem. So Max was creating sculpture alongside of the artist in the wet lab as they were processing samples, and putting the sculptures down in the water to be filmed with that ecosystem, to be embodied by the creatures of that area. We obviously don't leave anything behind. We brought the sculptures back, and they are now traveling as part of an exhibit. They debuted at Art Basel, Miami, which Heather talked about earlier today. You'll also see here Max working with some tube worm blood, doing watercolors with those species. And I will share a short video about Max's experience, because it really is about listening to the artists and how they are embodying that experience.
I've been obsessed with marine biological realms for as long as I can remember, and particularly the more extremophilic regions like this. I love things that aren't easy to relate to. I like environments that are hard to anthropomorphize. The experience is beyond overwhelming. It's impossible to kind of not border on the cliche when you respond like this, but it really is, it's this fairy tale environment. I've kind of, leaped out of the chaos of the metropolis and certain things kind of come to the fore and you gain a lot of clarity. You get clarity and then also the freedom to kind of play and experiment. The objective is to be as engaged and in situ as possible, particularly develop a synergy with the researchers. The synergy and the rapport with people is great. That's the toolkit that this provides, because I think it also for them, it's an extension of their modes of experimentation. Except mine can be even a little bit wilder because I don't have to do mine with a set of controls. I'm one of their specimens now. I'm a novel species in this ecosystem of many things that have been identified, but it's just a different player. And then from there, yeah, I mean, multiple bodies of work will be disseminated. What art can do is there's a different kind of freedom to experiment. There's also the freedom to ask questions that have resonance of scientific inquiries, but are a little bit more mysterious. I've worked with and kind of coined this idea of the trans habitat. For my practice, it conceives of nature as this just mutually morphogenic flux of bodies continuously being created, transformed, and destroyed. I wanted to deploy things that are suggestive of human artifice, what happens when they're kind of subsumed by the things in this habitat or environment. Nice job. Awesome. Let's nature. I want it to be kind of distressed and denatured and co-authored by everything down there. I'll be candid with you. I'm getting a type of encouragement and warmth that I've never had really in our world. There's a lot of very casual, very comfortable, very candid, very kind of like behind the scenes conversations that actually turn into real ideas and projects. I'm energized by that, and everybody's been really encouraging. Every day feels like a privilege. I'm gonna miss it. I'm definitely gonna miss it. Like I think I'll be heartbroken.
So Max really demonstrates what can be done when you have scientists and artists in the field working together. And what's really, really nice is to watch that relationship evolve. So Max and Dr. Bright are still working together. Max just finished an installation at the Gwangju Biennial that took a lot of his experience from this expedition and was put into his new display. The other thing that really is strong about the Artist at Sea program is that it's not a one and done opportunity. So once the expedition is finished and the artist goes back to their studio, we continue that relationship. There is a lot of back and forth and talking about the practice, and if they wish to continue their work focused on the subject matter, there's opportunities for funding for further installation and public display. And the scientists and artists tend to work together and build relationships. We have multiple examples of artists who have come on board who are doing illustrations for scientific publications. My favorite story is one of our earlier artists from 2016. She went on an expedition with a scientist who was looking at the water column. And she took all of his CTD data, is what it's called, where basically you're taking water samples and looking at graphs of the different chemical elements in the water. And she constructed those water columns based on the information he had by weaving metal frames together. And she showed at the Honolulu Biennial, and he happened to be coming through for a meeting and stopped by to take a look at her exhibit. And he walked in and immediately could say exactly what station each sculpture was from just by looking at the shape of the water column that she had sculpted. And to me, that speaks exactly to how the science and the data gets transformed in a way that is really unique and special. I'll share another example, a Hawaii-based artist, Taiji Terasaki. He is an artist who actually hasn't gone to sea with us. So we have started to evolve the residency to be able to bring remote artists who are working with our materials. All of our video, all of our science is made publicly available, and our imagery, we believe, should be considered data and publicly available as well. We want to bring those images and that experience to everybody in any way that we can. And so Taiji has transformed some of our imagery into his work using shoji Japanese screens, where he's reverse printed them with a filter that you can use, and an app comes up with Instagram, and when you put it against the filter, it shows video of those deep sea environments. And he integrated all the new species that were discovered during our first inaugural year of science in 2023 on Falkor 2. And these images are from the recent installation we did in Barcelona during the UN Ocean Decade Conference. And we have plans to bring this exhibit to Art Basel Paris next week. So not only is the relationship building between the scientist and the artist, we continue to build a relationship with the artists, working with them to exhibit some of the work, both as a collective of multiple artists who have experienced going to sea, but also working with the scientists themselves. And so we will showcase work both at art fairs and art venues, but also in scientific arenas such as conferences. Up here in the top right is the Royal Institution in London, and bringing different people to engage with the work in new ways. We also offer speaking opportunities for our artists, as well as collectives where they can come together and learn from each other's experience. We've had multiple artists who have sailed separately on Falkor or Falkor 2 and then gone on and done works together after the fact, and continued to engage with them for many, many years. We've had them speak, we bring them together to talk about their experiences. And we're also showcasing their work through film. Also on our YouTube page, we have The Art of Discovery, which is a 10-minute short about ocean exploration and art exploration at the same time. So this is one example of ways that you can engage with the arts community as well as with the science community and bring some of those places, expeditions, science that sort of operate on the edge of our knowledge and understanding and make it more digestible to a broader public. I think I will stop there and leave a few minutes for questions if there are any. Thank you. Any questions?
I love the relationship you've got with the artists here. Thank you, Carlie, for sharing this. And just a thing, so they get to stay on the boat?
They do, yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, so typically an expedition will last anywhere between 3 weeks to about 31 days or so. Their room and board is covered, and they are treated as part of the science party and engaged both in the science and their practice.
And the relationship between science and art, you've really seen those two things as like a closer stem cell together?
Yeah. I think one of the problems is that we often say, oh, let's work with an artist, let's bring an artist on board, and it's a very transactional, one-way direction of understanding how we communicate the work. And what we've really seen through these more in-depth experiences where you have groups of people working together for long periods of time, that it becomes a lot more of a two-way dimension. The scientists tend to loosen up a little bit with an artist. They even sometimes will change what they're doing or how they're doing it based on some things that the artists have brought to the table. And vice versa, the artist also is able to engage in a new way and a new way of understanding based on their hands-on experience. So they're not just being told, but they're actually doing. Yeah, thanks for the question. Anything more? Yeah, in the back there. Oh, is that Oliver?
Sorry, me again. A question regarding the relationship between science and art for you. And are there areas of scientific inquiry which Schmidt Ocean Institute are leading on,
Well, there's lots of that. I think the areas that we're working in have never been seen before by anybody. A lot of the times we're diving in new places that haven't been looked at, and we're bringing important views of these deep places that maybe are ripe for exploration of, or exploitation of deep sea mining perhaps, or trawling and fishing. And by bringing these areas to light and showing that they are not void of life, that there are a lot of things happening there. They are important living ecosystems that influence other systems within the ocean. I think that's a really powerful thing to share with the public. In a way, it's a quiet advocacy. Great. Thank you very much. If anyone is interested or knows artists, we're always looking for new people to bring on board. Thank you.